Hello, welcome back to Introduction to Photography. This is going to be the third episode. I'm going to be doing a little showcase of photography to cap out these three episodes here. Again, my name is Duncan Calder. It's nice to be able to present this to anyone interested in photography here. So here's a photo that I took over the summer of it was a place we hiked in. I think it was somewhere in a bit northern Massachusetts. It was a beautiful sunny day in kind of the late summer into fall, and this was over a nice bog. It was a beautiful picture to be able to take a picture of, and I liked being able to have the contrast between the blue skies and the red, green, and orange leaves down below. So in some other sessions, we had someone talking about the photographer Bob Amorell from Cape Cod. So I just wanted to go over some of their photos here to explain maybe some of the techniques that were used and maybe kind of inspire some people for taking pictures and to give more understanding on what different processes they go through. Of course, here's their information to follow them and take a look at their pictures themselves, so they can have some credit for that. Website, Facebook, and then Instagram, truly incredible pictures. I encourage everyone to take a look at them themselves to see what great work they do every day in cold temperatures and warm temperatures all year round. So here's one I wanted to talk about because in the last two sessions, people have had questions about HDR. I was showing on an iPhone, and I'm sure with other phones as well, you can turn on a setting called HDR, and that makes it so that the skies or bright parts of the image and the foreground, in this case of the beach here, dark part of the image, are exposed at the same time. So in this picture, you can see right along the sky there, the trees are in focus and are exposed, but they're looking a little bit unnatural. That's a cause of the HDR and adjusting so that you can see the sky and the foreground at the same time. So in this case, the sky was greatly darkened so that it wouldn't be too blown out, a term used in the first session. And you can see a little bit of the noise along the tree line, because in the photo that was taken from, it was probably very dark, so the shadows were brought up a lot. And then you can see the kayaks are all nicely exposed, and you can see a lot of detail there. So this is a good example of an instance where having a high dynamic range or HDR photo is necessary. So you can see the light in the sky, you can see the detail in the trees, you can see the pond, and you can see the kayaks in the foreground here. So I wanted to show off that to kind of explain that a little bit more in an instance of a photographer using that technique in real life to really bring out the essence of the image and the experience that they had at this moment. And then this picture, I read the caption and it was talking a lot about their enjoyment of the lines bringing you right down in the image. And it was a good description of some of the topics I've discussed in the past of trying to set up images so that you have kind of a story that you're going through while you're looking at the picture. So in this case, you're likely going to see the lines of the sea and the sand there, and it draws you into the image. So into the center where the middle of the sunset is, and that brings your eyes right in. That also is helped by the shore on the right side and the beach on the left side coming in as well to bring you right to the center where the darkest purples are from the sunset. And that's a really good example of good composition where you have a balance of the elements, but also you've got dynamic elements pulling your eye together and giving you focus on the image, so you know what you're looking at and have an idea of what's happening in the image. And I love sunset pictures, and the sunset is really beautiful in the sky, but also reflecting off of the water to bring all of those cool colors and warm colors in together in one image. So here's another that really shows an image where someone was using, or not someone, Bob here was using a wide angle lens. So you can see that there's a lot that they're showing here, where you have the two railings from these steps that are both really close and in focus, and you can see there's great perspective where it starts from the corners of the image going right down to the bottom of the steps. This was chosen obviously so that you can be able to see the whole walkway like you're standing on these steps, watching the sunset off onto the ocean and onto the beach. It's a wonderful use of that. And this again would have been an instance of them using the HDR or system so that they can have the sky and the walkway here all exposed so that you can really experience the entire scene as it was intended by the photographer. Often you can also use series of filters where it's basically like putting sunglasses on the camera, but only on the top. So in this case, the brightest parts, you really want to darken the sky. So they might have put on a kind of sunglasses, a darker filter so that the sky can start being darkened up, but the foreground where the walkway isn't darkened up. And I just really love this photo with this show of this emotion of watching the sunset on this walkway, like you're standing just waiting with the photographer here. And here's another really beautiful photo that shows off a system where you can have this effect of blurred sea. Here it's done by having a long exposure photo. So usually when you're taking pictures, it exposes the camera. So either the image sensor you have in the camera or the film you have in the camera, the light getting to that developing system. You can either have it for a short amount of time, it's very bright, or longer amount of time if it's darker. In this instance, they would have had it for a longer amount of time. So as the light was bouncing off of the waves and as everything was moving in the scene, it creates a blur because it's a motion blur because everything's moving. And here they probably did it for about a quarter of a second to capture the movements of the waves rolling in and the water coming in and out on the shore here to create an experience of kind of surreal, dreamlike capturing of this scene, like time is going by as you're standing here watching the sun and on the beach. It's an effect that I really like using, and sometimes you can do it on your phone as well, but it takes a lot of kind of skill to practice and find the right way to get the effect to work in the scene that you're trying to get it to work in. And then this one is another image where they're looking directly at the sun. Usually you wouldn't try to take picture directly at the sun because you're not going to see much other than the brightness of the sun. They're able to do this picture because they can put sunglasses on the camera and darken it down so that everything is at a good exposure level. And this is another example of some good leading lines where you have the bank of the dune coming in on the left, and then the break between the snow and where the surf has come up on the right, bringing you right down to the center of the image where the sun is. And it's really lined up perfectly with the snow in the middle goes right towards the sun. And it's a good way to ensure that the viewer of the picture knows exactly where you want them to look and exactly what story that a user will see as they're looking through this image here. And while these are all beach images, you can use these same kind of ideas for other photos where you're just looking for lines that might point any viewer to what you're looking at and what you see in the image, so you can really capture the beauty of whatever you're taking a picture of. And then here's another one where it's the same thing, where you can follow along the ocean there. I just kept looking through these photos and finding more and more that I liked, and more that use some of the systems and the techniques that I was discussing in the earlier session. So I encourage you to take a look at more of their photos to get inspiration to take photos and look into what you have around you and see if you're able to capture it in a way that you can show other people what you like in your surroundings. And then I'll go over some of my photos that I have taken recently as well. I'll start off with just some pictures that I've taken, kind of thinking about these sessions and thinking about taking pictures more, walking around with my phone. I took some pictures and just doing work and all of the things I do on my day-to-day basis, taking pictures. So it should be encouragement of people to do that as well, to have a camera near them so that if they see something that is worthy taking a picture of, then just capturing it and seeing what it looks like. And with continued practice, you'll start maybe liking your pictures more and more and sharing them more so that you can show off what's around you. There's also a lot of my pictures on my website and on my Instagram if anyone is interested in taking a look at them. And my contact information is there as well if you would like to reach out to me if you have any questions about my photos or anything at all.
I looked at all your photographs last week, the first week. And
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
they're gorgeous. And I saw a place that was interesting to me. Was it Shebeg Island?
Yes. Beautiful location.
Nice place. Yeah. I've always wanted to go there. So when I saw the pictures, I said, I should really get myself there because they're beautiful. Your shots are beautiful.
Yes, my family has some friends who have a house down there. Well, they actually rent it out during the summer, I believe. So you might be able to visit the house. But we were able to stay a weekend down there, or I guess up there because it's up in Maine.
Right.
And it was a beautiful weekend that I really loved being able to walk around taking pictures of the sunrises, the sunsets, the houses and everything there. And I'm glad you enjoyed that too.
So where is this?
So here's one I took a couple weeks ago. This is Flume Gorge up in the White Mountains. Little covered bridge there. This is a photo that I did use my HDR feature on my camera to take this picture here. So the sky was really too bright, and it still is a little bit bright. So you can see that it's very light blue instead of maybe a darker blue. And it's also another show of it's kind of difficult taking pictures in the snow because the snow just ends up being a lot of white, and then everything is just white, and I have to adjust it so that you can see more of the greens and yellows and orange in the picture as well, to show off more of the color rather than just the drab white. And you can also see some of kind of the purple in the rock down below. And this is something I just took really quickly. I like this scene of the covered bridge that I took my camera out, took a picture of it across the little gorge here, and really liked it there. And then this is looking right down into the gorge. Again, this was a photo that I had to take down the highlights, so darkening the brightest parts of the image some, because otherwise it would have been too bright, and then adjusted the saturation so you can see the green moss on the left, and then the tinted yellow ice on the right mixed in with the other blue or greener ice. And the ice turns yellow because of the minerals in the soil from above. This is a very piney area, and pine has what's called kind of tannins in the pine needles that kind of tint the water that brownish yellow color. So that's why there's a lot of that coming down through the ice there. It's kind of shows off what's in the soil and what's in the water that's pouring down from the top of the rock there. And then just some photos that I was taking earlier this week. I set up a bird feeder, and there was a little female cardinal that was looking in the window at me um, as I was walking. And while some of the other photos I've taken are kind of really meticulously edited and taken and captured, this was just something that I just pulled out my phone and zoomed in as far as I could and tried to take a picture of this as best I could. So it's not a glamorous photo, but it is something that still captures the moment of this cardinal looking in the window at me, and my excitement of seeing the birds come by to visit the bird feeder that I set out. And it was really really exciting to see that, and hopefully I'll be able to take better pictures of the birds later. But as of now, this is the best I was able to do, and I'm very happy with it. And I went out for a walk, found this restaurant off of Providence Street, I believe, and just really liked its look, kind of the old style sign in the back, and then in the front, the looks like it would be like a plaque title card there saying Dinos. So I really liked taking that picture there. I didn't even go out into the front of it, even though I'm sure it would have been looked even nicer from the front. I kind of liked the little broken down look of it.
I live across the street from there. I see that every
Oh,
day.
wonderful. There you go. Yeah, and I'll skip to the next one. So here's the street it's on. I really liked that kind of this business sign on the side of the road off of this private street marked as dangerous, just Lord Street. As I was walking, just kind of capture the experience of where I was walking by as I was going for a nice stroll. And then this looks like a firehouse that I think has been turned into maybe a house now along the same street, walking by and just taking a picture because I really like that architecture of that yellow stone brick and just the spire pointing right up into the sky. So again, it's not like the most exquisite landscape. It's just something that I saw when I was walking around. I decided to take a picture of. So encouragement to just take a picture wherever you are, whatever you're seeing, and kind of really taking a good look at what's around you that others might enjoy, that you kind of maybe unconsciously enjoy yourself. And then a couple weeks ago was able to safely go to visit the Isabelle Stewart Gardner Museum, and this was in kind of the central courtyard where there's this beautiful natural light coming into this garden area with these really nice looking Gothic window arches covering over these windows going up to the stories and the taller heights of the museum. And there's another really nice kind of architectural moment of looking at the soft light on everything and the shadows falling down with it looks like it would be like marble you have here in the stone, but it's just like the pink is just modeled in there. It's like it was like painted or spray painted in there. So maybe they were trying to make the stone look nicer than it actually was. And I'm sure a lot of people have taken this picture exactly or taken a picture similar to this, but this is just my way to capture the moment of what I was enjoying in this museum as I was walking through and being able to experience this. It's interesting though that you can't really see any people in this, that even though it was unfortunately a little bit of a busy museum day, because they had just opened to let everyone in, there's no show of that anywhere here. It's just kind of a quiet, serene moment. So that's all I have for now. I'd be happy to answer questions or go over some of the other things I talked about in the previous weeks. But I just wanted to end all of these with just saying to keep taking photos, keep your kind of photographer's eye open, look around for what there is in your area. If you have to like go and explore different like streets or just go down the street you've gone down before but hadn't taken a look at this one house that you always thought was nice. To capture the moment, to either for your own enjoyment or to share with other people, and to just kind of keep taking pictures and practicing. And these sessions will be available to view for other people and be on YouTube to watch if you want to watch back on them. But also, if you're able, you can look up information about photography online and see if there's any kind of photographers you like or techniques you want to try out with, or any other settings on the phone you want to play with. And it's just trying to do more and more to take better pictures or more pictures and capture the beauty that you see around you. Again, there's my website and Instagram you can use to keep up with me and contact me. And I hope that I've kind of had an impact to encourage people to take more pictures or learn more about photography as I've had experience with so far. Thanks for joining me, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed looking at your photos and I've enjoyed just listening to you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.